Hey, this is Nancy with Stonewall's Farm. We've done a cast on, we've done a knit stitch, and what we're going to do now is purling, because basically whatever it is that you want to do in knitting is likely going to demand that you know how to purl. And these are just the two really basic stitches of knitwear. So remember that with knitting we went up through the front of the stitch, and the working needle here goes behind the holding needle, okay, through the front of the stitch and behind the needle. That's knitting. All right, so purling is down and in front, knitting up and in back, purling down and in front. Another difference is that in knitting, oh, again, long tail cast on. This tail is longer than the one I had before, and it's easy to make the mistake of starting to knit with your leftovers from your cast on instead of the one that's the working yarn coming off our wonderful, luscious local merino that we have here. Okay, so again, down through the stitch, and the working needle is in front for purling. The yarn is also in front. We're still doing a counterclockwise around the working needle and pull it up through and jump it off. And I was gonna try to put together a little thing for you for this, but if you come in through the back door, can we do it this way? In through the back door, run around the front, out through the window, and off jumps punt. I don't know. Anyway, down and in front, wrap around counterclockwise, pull the stitch through the back, and get the old one off the holding stitch. So down and in front, wrap the yarn around counterclockwise, pull that loop through, and then pull the stitch off the holding. Down and in front, wrap the yarn around your working needle, pull that loop through, and pull the stitch off. And look what we're doing here. We're making all these bumps in the front. Remember, with knitting we were getting the bumps in the back. With purling we get the bumps in the front. Down and in front, wrap around the working needle counterclockwise, pull the loop through, and pull the stitch off your other side. Okay, so here we are at our last stitch, boom. Okay, and now what do? We have to switch hands. Now, I did have a friend who learned how to knit by just watching her grandmother knit, and she actually knits completely mirror image to this. Successfully, but even so, it's just a little odd to see. Anything can be done with knitting. There really aren't any mistakes. We just call that lace. And so again, purling. So see how the yarn is in front of my working needle, down and in front through the stitch, wrap around, pull it through. This needle goes down and it stays in front of the holding needle, pull that stitch through. Down and in front, wrap around, pull the stitch through, and don't forget to pull the stitch off of your holding needle. Down and in front, wrap around, pull that through. And again, doing this is the way to figure it out. Because this is it's kind of like tying your shoes, you know. You can tell somebody how to tie their shoes, but until they actually are there making their bunny ears or whatever, it's hard to figure it out. Okay, so we just made a line of bumps here, but look at this, we got a smooth row underneath that. That's because we were doing purl over here. If we do purl stitches, we're making a knit looking stitch, a smooth flat stitch in the back. So on the working side we're making bumps, and on the opposite side we're making flat stitches. So let's do one more row of this. And then we're gonna take a look at what we're coming up with. Down and in front, down through the stitch, down through the stitch in the front, down through the stitch and wrap around counterclockwise. If you wrap it the other way, remember what happens? You get the stitch sitting on your needle in a way that's going to make it twisted. And there are times when you may want to do that, but you need to learn how to do it the straight way first, and then let's get another purl row in here so we can really see what we're doing. Now, I'm trying to think if I still have the swatch from the knitting class, and then we'll look at these things, because if I purl every row, I come up with the same looking fabric that I get if I knit every row, and it's garter stitch. Again, garter stitch is one of those, it's bumpy on both sides, right? We got a flat row, bumpy row, flat row, bumpy row, and it sits flat. It doesn't curl up at the bottom or on the edges. And it looks the same front and back. Okay, so that's a purl stitch. Thanks so much.